This is something that I'm definitely not familiar with my first time. I'm going to come in and try to help you guys out some. I'm going to struggle with this myself, I'm sure, but I kind of put a mix together. Basically, this is going to be a float rod, and you're going for Caspian roach, basically all the roach varieties, common roach, Caspian roach, that sort of thing, and it's points per. You can see the points per fish there. In other words, it's going to be a total score of commons, trophies, uniques, depending on what you're going for. The rewards, again, are not fabulous, but the jerkbait would be great. I don't know about the open feeder, but the mono line maybe even. But again, we're going to go into this and see what we can do. You cannot catch, it's going to be hard to isolate, in other words, and you can't use a rod stand, can't use a boat. A float tackle is the hard part. I've put a mix together here and just seeing what I can do. Again, you guys can learn from my failures and laugh at me, and who knows at this point if you guys watched my meaty fellows yesterday or my pike competition, I got dead laked there. If you want to know what dead laked is, watch the end of my meaty fellas and you'll see exactly what dead laked is. That's when the computer shuts off and you will not get a bite, unfortunately. But I'm going to go ahead and join this and see what I can do. Now I'm going to start here at the boat dock. And what I usually do for these things, I just pick random spots. I've already got all my recatch done a long time ago. Ideally, you wouldn't fish these with thanks John. You definitely wouldn't want to fish these with a float rod. Normally that's not something I would do. I did put a generic mix together, which one makes the most sense. Looking at this mix, I just put a black roach, or obviously we're going for roach. Universal mixer, just put a little extra weight into it. Spicy roach, 2 ounces. 1 ounce of because it's all season, and then just for sweetness, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Molasses caramel, oil pea cake, 3 ounces, hemp corn, for a total of, again, you can have this stuff pre-mixed, just don't mix it. You can have it at your home base and then just enter the comp, and then all you gotta do is hit mix. So it's only 87 ounces or 85 ounces. I'm gonna try this and see, and I'll give you a mark. Me and my friend John here practiced it for a little bit, and it's, again, not one of the more fun competitions, but a guy in the stream the other day on the Ask stream had asked how to catch roach for the Roach Rider. So here we go. Here's going to be my attempt. You guys adjust accordingly. Any of you guys that might happen to come in and on the channel and look through this. This is what I'm going to attempt, and that's the mix I'm using. Also, again, the current's so strong here at Tuba, it's hard to keep a float rod. But I did not get the unique yet, but I was able to just spot this spot and at least pick up some Caspian roach as well as some roach. So I did get a rud there as well. So I'll cast all this out and we'll see what happens. Again, because of the current, that's the only thing I could think of is to keep your bobber in place, is to find a place. Again, who knows if you'd catch these without spotting, but as you can see by those markers, I was able to catch some. Now again, some of these guys might already have this figured out, so again, I'm not expecting to do extremely well. Just kind of warming up on this with my friend John here for about 45 minutes. It's really tough to isolate. I got a few baits that I'm going to try, just common things, but again, I was picking up bleak, bream, goby, what's the other one, gudgeon, a lot of the smaller varieties. So it's kind of up to you on what bait you want to use. I'm going to go through this and just see if I can let this cycle out and catch something. Again, there's a lot better places on the map I would like to fish, but you can't use your boat. You'd have to walk way up there. So again, we'll try this and see. Again, with only 85 ounces of mix, it shouldn't take more than 4 or 5 minutes of your time to throw it out. And I would assume if they're sail black roach, or hopefully this works on a spod rod at least. You guys know my feelings on attaching catfish mix to a pole, like a closed feeder. Who really knows? But the spod, if they're selling this stuff and they sell it here in the shop, it has to draw in the roach and the rudd and the Caspian roach. So one would come to that conclusion if they're going to sell it to you and you got a spod rod, it should at least bring some in. Now trying to do this without it, I have no idea. There's probably some guy that has a system for it again, but putting all this stuff up on the channel to try to help you guys. If anything, just give you a foundation and you guys go from there. Also, just kind of playing around my hook size. I'm using a number 14. I'm going to try with Seminole balls, and then pearl barley did work all right. Again, I haven't found a way to catch just roach. So again, and again, hopefully I don't get dead legged. Again, that does happen as well. So if it does, my apologies, and I'm sure you guys playing enough these comps, it's going to happen to you guys as well. So as you can see, that guy's catching some bleak as well, and some siege. He did get a nice common unique. So again, I have no idea on the hook size. I'm going to try the 14s. I seem to have a little bit of success with that. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it, bud. I'm probably going to pull in a bunch of bleak. There's a nice bream. Again, I haven't been able to isolate those out. I think you kind of just got to try to let it cycle. Again, just to me, it makes the most sense here. I don't want to sit and fight my bobber casting out to the left. And since I put my mix here, obviously you want to keep your, attempt to keep your float in place. So that's kind of, this is going to be my strategy. Again, you guys just adapt. Do what you think works for you. Oh. Oh, John, I appreciate you coming in and watching, but I doubt this is going to be too exciting. But like I said, I'm just trying to experiment. A guy had asked me to, if anything, towards the, at some point I'll share him a couple marks. But obviously I would just spot for these things if I was catching them and do my checklist. I've got plenty of them. But like I said, I'd prefer to have a rod stand out now, and so the action's a lot better. But again, if I can get a few points, then I'll be happy. So, but there's one roach at least. But to me, the most would, yeah, this would be a hard one to practice for. Again, I'm trying to put one of pretty much every tournament on here. Just kind of give you my viewpoint and whatever I was able to figure out. Again, great thing about fishing is everybody kind of has their own go-to or their favorite thing they like to fish for. And again, I put a lot of these up just to see maybe this is something somebody would be really good at. So, but I think it's good to at least try some of these out and see which ones you like. If anything, we didn't get skunked, guys. We did get at least one roach. But as you can see, if I was to throw my bobber out to the left off the front of that, it's just going to have to just let it float to a certain spot. So this, to me, made most sense. Just to try this. So if it gets slow, I'll probably switch baits or something, but we'll just see. And again, you'll pick up bream, gudgeon, and all kinds of other stuff. Okay, okay, that's a little better. That's a little better. Again, what I'm doing is I want to say that's just 3 or 4 foot of water out there. What I did was just cast a bottom rod out to see how deep it was. And then I kind of just set my bobber where it'll just kind of make sure it's still on the bottom. In other words, I'm using that current in my favor to hold that in place by standing on this dock, since you can't use a boat, because I got a lot of better spots I would like to fish for these, to be honest with you. That's a nice sized little fatty. How about that? Screenshot. Alrighty. Now again, you guys could try rotating, but again, the problem is going to be keeping your bobber in place where your mix is. So come on. I just caught a unique, John. I caught a unique on what I'm using right now, number 4, with salmonella balls, 2.2 pounder. In other words, it ain't broke right now. I ain't fixing it. I just want to see if it cycles through all varieties. I just caught a 2.2 pound unique Caspian. Or no, unique common roach. So did get a unique, and I got a trophy. So I just want to see if it cycles out. In other words, I think what's going to bring these things in more than anything is just you got to throw out the black roacher. Black roacher and the spicy roach, I think, is what you're going to want. Yeah, I'll try. Like I said, I was trying the grasshopper and the thing, and I kept getting I was getting gudgeon and everything, man. I tried the grasshoppers earlier, but again, everybody kind of has their own way. Again, that's you guys kind of adjust. Super Dave, guys, if you tuned in, he was saying try grasshoppers, so that might be something you guys try. I'll probably cycle a few baits out. But what I don't know is if I would assume the rest of these should cycle out, and maybe we can get something else. But nonetheless, we did get one unique, so that's something for you guys to build off of. And again, if you notice there at the top, when I see the Maestro guys, Cole Crotter, and of course the OG himself, General Nunez, he's a stud. So I don't expect to shatter the leaderboards with these guys in here. Again, it wouldn't hurt to have an intermediate level for your casual players that come in and try to compete in these things. And since I've went dead and not had a bite, I will try. I had a little luck on the barley earlier, but I did get some siege on the side, so I'll try that, and then maybe we'll go to grasshopper and see. But I did try the grasshopper earlier, and it was not successful for me. And what I'll probably do is, if it gets slow, I'd probably just respawn the water and see. Who knows what the... I mean, this guy's obviously... Nunez knows what he's doing. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, just in general, is if people don't feel like they have a chance to win X Series gear, not to mention the guys that always win these things, how much gear do they need if they've already got all the same things? In other words, if you're going to do it like this and the same top 3 people or top 5 people win, I know they put the work in. I understand that's great, and they definitely deserve to be rewarded. But the regular schmo off the street that has a 9-to-5 job that comes in and tries to play in these things, you got to have some kind of a chance, because you're not going to have the participation needed in these things even. And if it were me, and if I was playing against beating the same people over and over, and I don't even feel like I really have that much competition, then that would kind of get boring for me, to be honest with you. In other words, I like to see, it's good to see other people win. And maybe I just got dead-legged again. You guys know me, I'm good at starting out quick, and then for whatever reason my leg goes dead for me, so also a possibility. I've got 60 points in third. The guy in second has an 83, John, and the General Nunez is pretty much 3 times our score. He's got the like 100 and something. I'll look at it here in a second for you again. Let me get this back together. Again, if you're going for that series gear and you got plenty of cash, this definitely doesn't hurt to. I don't remember what I put in there. Universal 12. It definitely doesn't hurt to throw a little bit at it. If you're going for X Series gear, you might as well. Like all that's in there still. We got plenty there. Again, I'm merely putting more on here just to kind of freshen up the water. Again, giving you guys options on this. Again, also, you guys know when you pause and mix this, you're not losing time. You're only losing time when you're out of the pause menu on the the generic comps here. On a tournament, semifinal, final, you do not get to stop the clock. Okay, General Nunez is sitting on 170 points. Second place is at 83, and I'm at 60. I'm looking at the lobby. It looks like it's kind of went slow. Nobody else has caught anything after I did, so. So I'll probably make 5 casts with this. 4 or 5 casts and see if it refreshes the water or not. Of course, I missed on that one. But again, you guys can see the experience gap, I'm going to start calling it. The experience gap is, that guy's got 3 times now. Literally, this is the first time I've entered this. Me and my friend John just practiced this, I'm going to say, for about 45 minutes. So that's how much experience I have on it. Oh, good, man. I appreciate it. Again, it does appear I got 3 in my lobby and nobody's really doing anything. So it's probably going to be slow for most people except for the guys that know what they're doing. And that's not what we want. There's a guy down there that's already left, and I see why. And you guys tuning in and out, we're basically going for, this is the first time we've ever played this, but I had a viewer ask yesterday when I was doing the ASP tournament to put up this Roach rudder, so I did just a little bit of practice. We did come in and get a unique. We're fishing with a float here in a tuba. That's the rules. You can use 1 rod. You can't use a spot rod. I did spot that spot. I just picked the spot out close to me enough where I could keep the current from messing me up. I will say it does seem that I had better luck on the Seminolina balls. Probably dough balls would work. P-dough maybe. I'll try grasshoppers in a second, but again, in practice, I did not have luck with them, but it doesn't mean that wouldn't work in the comp, so. I just seen one swim away. That was a nice roach. And also, guys, you can get dead lake no matter what you do. Again, what I'm going to try to do is just throw out a couple every once in a while to see if that does anything. Throw out 3, cast back out, and see if you get one. Again, you can tell other than the top 2 guys, mainly General Nunez, the score's not really moving. Now, see, here's the things that'll drive you crazy is am I fishing in a dead lake again? There's a common, and we'll take it. Again, you can see people's just left here, and nobody's even really catching anything in my... there's only one left now. So everybody's kind of having the same luck other than the top 2 or 3 guys there that are... This is probably a goby. Nope, common bleak. Again, to just kind of keep refreshing the water, I'll just throw 1 or 2 out and see what we can get. Again, any of you guys bouncing out, I had a request to do this comp yesterday, so this came up and I'm just trying to help a guy out. So just kind of giving you guys a base and a foundation. Basically all I did was put some black roacher together and just threw some spod mix out with black roacher and some other things I showed at the start of the stream. We did get 1 unique. We're doing okay. We're in the top 5, so. You can only use a float rod, so I just figured out to sit here on the dock, picked a random spot, spotted towards it, and got a unique here. You're going for Caspian roach, rudd, and common roach. I've had the best luck on the salmonella balls. I tried the pearl barley and grasshopper and stuff in the little practice thing that I did, but it's slow, like a lot of these comps. And you'll get a bite and they just swim away, so. but we are catching, so could be worse. Ah, I missed one. Silver Brain does not surprise me. Again, I wasn't able to isolate these out entirely for you guys, so play around. I heard centipedes is okay, but again, I was catching a lot of bream on that as well. I tried bloodworms. Of course, you pick up perch. And the gudgeon and the goby. The goby would not leave me alone on bloodworms. So I kind of ruled that one out. I'm not saying you can't catch the roach on them, but you're going to sit there and catch all kinds of non-targets. So and you guys could also try doing a little bit of a different mix maybe as well, but you're going for roach, so yeah, black roacher definitely should be your base, as well as the spicy roach aroma. And what I might have to do is respod again, just to keep the spot active. And if we're lucky and this isn't a bream, then we're doing all right. Nope, bream. Of course it is. Okay, we'll go ahead and throw back out. And you guys tuning in, I'm trying this Roach Rider for a viewer that wanted me to try this comp out. I practiced for 45 minutes. What I just figured out, I just mixed some black roacher and stuff. You'll have to go back to early in the stream, but we did get a unique right here. We're holding our own for the very first time playing in this, but this is definitely something you guys can build off of if this is something you guys like. The rules are you can only use a float rod, which makes it extremely difficult. Anybody that's fished here, you can only use a float rod. So the current, in other words, if you cast out here and try to get them, normally I would go way up there and farm, but you can't even use a boat. You'd have to walk 17 miles. So what I come up with is I just picked a random spot, marked the buoy, started casting towards it, and after I put my spod mix out, and as you can see, we got 84 points, so it's not horrible. Something to build off of. Again, you guys play with your hook sizes and stuff like that, but I did get a unique common roach. That 2.2 pounder you've seen, I did get that off of Seminole Balls, or however you pronounce it, and the hook 14 here. Again, though, just kind of looking at the experience gap from the top two guys, you know, when your score is getting doubled, I don't know how a casual player can come in and compete with some of these guys on some of these. So definitely, I hope at some point they break up the, you know, put the studs with the studs, and the guys that are casual players have an intermediate level until you've won so much and you got more experience, because it'd be like I don't know, just like a guy off the street kind of trying to step into the ring with Mike Tyson, or, you know, I don't see how a guy's ever going to have a chance. I'm fine with it because I just try to have fun either way, but a normal person that's just trying to come in and get some X Series gear is going to be extremely difficult. And that's the mix I kind of just put together there. I'm going to go ahead and put a little more on because That's the only thing that makes sense. So start with your ground base. You're going for roach, put in black roach or max it out. What made most sense to me is just use some universal. Obviously, I don't want to throw in carp rival and attract Prussian carp or anything like that or common carp. So I just put 12 ounces of this in. Um, aromas, you don't want to go with Bremer. Use your, I already got some in there. That'll be in there. That's already in. I did just to see if it might help or not. I did put in 1 ounce of that, as well as the X flavor, just 1 ounce. And then just put 3 of this in. And when I got the unique, I did cast it all out, but I've been just trying to freshen up the water, obviously, because you don't want to spend your entire time spotting. That wouldn't make much sense. But again, to keep the pace with these guys, I assume that they have to be spotting. Um, if not, they just got a really good spot that they have in a hook size and stuff. So again, I'm just going to keep refreshing. I'm actually going to do 5 casts this time and just kind of save half of the mix at least. I should be able to get 5 casts out in 2 minutes or less, hopefully. And it's only about 3 or 4 foot of water right there, and all I did was just mark a random spot and was able to just get roach right here. Position yourself for your floats not getting away from your spot mix. That's the trouble when I went to practice this earlier. I tried some spots that I wanted to go to, but it was too far to walk. You spend half your tournament walking or half your comp walking, so I just marked this spot so I can use the current in my favor. And I'm using a hashtag 14. You guys can play around with your bait, but in other words, experiment with what you might like for roach. I will also say I haven't had as many misses. The bite got a little slow, but again, for our first time to get a unique on something we never played in, it's not a bad start. Again, you're going to have slow peaks on all these comps you'll find, but to get, if we get one more unique, we could be up there. But the thing that I really dislike about these comps, it should be top 10, in my opinion. That way, at least, the 4th through the 10th, because I've got a lot of top 10s and various things, a couple top 5s, but I just only have 1 second place, which is astronomical that I could play in that many and not feel like I get something for my time. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that have been watching these comps and kind of following along will probably have that same little bit of a bitter taste when you're trying to get X Series gear. But I would say, just again, reiterate everything. Uh, After looking through any of these comps that you thumb through and just happen to fast forward or whatever, pick the ones that you like and the ones that you think you have the best chance in, and I would build from there. In other words, if you like fishing for shark, go for the shark tournaments. Blaze the Maze, Don't Bully Me Shark, and I think the other one's Big Brother. And also, if you like catching the Nile perch, then playing the Nile Emperor and the one long and one short. But all these little finicky fish that I've been going through to kind of be your guinea pig, so to speak, to kind of figure things out for you. If you're a guy that's really patient, you know, you want to play the scores from the bottom at the Gant. If you like catching roach, then come here and go for the roach. If you like doing the bream mix, go do the dream bream. It just all depends on you guys. But again, just the experience gap with this guy at the top, not taking anything away from him, he's doing great. But the casual player, you do not have a chance to come in and get X Series gear when he's going to outscore you 3 and 4 times what your score is going to be. So that's what you're up against. Again, and you guys tuning in and out of this on these comps, make sure you get you a list, or get you and your friend, and set up a custom template. And there's one of those on my channel, just kind of show you how to do it. It's pretty self-explanatory. But go to the lake if you want to fish for cheesy cat at Mudwater, then go practice it. There's only one person in my lobby, and he's not catching anything that's a score. I don't even think he's looking at his deal. Yeah, he's got nothing but bream. That cannot be fun for him. I don't even know if he's caught a scoring fish. And how some people sit through this and not. It's tough. It really is. Any of you guys that tune in, go look at my meaty fellas. There's a thing called Dead Lake, where the computer shuts off and you just will not get a bite. It happened to me last night in live stream. Started out on fire. I got a unique and I think a trophy combo and something else. And my lake for the last probably 38 to 42 minutes, it didn't matter what I did, hook size or anything. I literally couldn't catch a fish. And there was nothing that I was doing wrong. I even showed a lot of good markers. I don't know how they fixed that either. But not to sit and reel on the game. Obviously, I'm streaming it, so I enjoy playing it. But just trying to put a lot of this content up here to help you guys out the best that I can. But again, you guys practice. Definitely will help you. Set up your custom temps if you like fishing for Nile perch, and go in there and set up your custom temp, while your custom template there in the sport option. Go to that tab, set it up for you and your friend, put in a password, whatever you want the password to be, and you guys practice it so you're kind of on the similar peaks, and it'll show up a little scoreboard like this. But that would be what I recommend for you guys that are just now getting into comps. Now, I doubt this. I'll probably play this again at some point, but this is not going to be one of those ones that I get excited when I see it on the tournament schedule or the comp schedule. I'm not going to say, oh yes, Roach Rider, I'm going to start gearing up for it. Probably not. I would assume everybody's kind of got their own niche in fishing planning in general, so I would say pick the ones you like. I do got several friends on my friends list. I say that a lot, but I know one in particular that he's a really patient guy that would probably be really good at this one. So just a matter of learning how to do your spot mix. Again, a lot of people will. Hold on here, got a bite. Is that a bite? Come on. A lot of people will just, spot 300 foot out or whatever, but a lot of times if you just mark a random spot and just kind of let it cycle through. I missed there again, but just like I said, I'm not trying to. I know I'm not going to catch these guys, so it don't really matter. I literally just picked a random spot out here and just threw my spot mix. It's just black roacher. Where's my okay, hold on here. Did I move them? There it is. That's just a random spot I just picked and threw black roacher at. So if that helps you guys, again, I'm using the current to try to keep my bobber in place. And you guys that's fished at the Tuba, the current's horrible. It's gonna It's basically going to flow from the bridge all the way down here, so I figured out to just mark a spot. Since you have to use a float rod, spot them in other words. I doubt these things are going to bite very good if you didn't have the mix out here. So I did use black roacher, I think universal, spicy roach obviously has an aroma, and a couple other things, but you guys can look back on that if it helps you. Now again, if you were able to build off this little run that I had, maybe you like a hook 12 or something like that, but I did get the unique on this hook, so I haven't, just to kind of keep this somewhat controlled and you guys can variant from there, I just gave you a base of kind of what to do. Again, myself, I enjoy the lure tournaments more than I do sitting here with one rod. The carp tournaments are fun. Most of those are pretty fun because you get a lot of action, but sitting here fishing for a 2-pound roach, and if you get really lucky, is not the most exciting thing to do. That's the first round gobo we got on that, so I will try to go to pea barley. I did have a little bit of success with pea barley earlier. Again, a good tip on, I hate to stretch this out any farther because it's been pretty boring, but a good tip, go to your store, whatever lake you're at, and kind of see, this is supposed to be, it says target fish, roach. That should be the best isolation there is, but what I found was I was still picking up a non-target species, so again, I just kind of throw my hands up at that. Again, since I've thrown out black roacher, I've mixed it with spicy roach. I'm putting out the bait that it still sells here at the local bait shop, so to speak. And I'm using a tiny hook for a tiny fish. It should somewhat hit for you. But again, you guys play around with, experiment with your different baits that you like, and hopefully you do a little better than I did. But going into this my first time and getting a unique and just spotting the spot off the dock, I did set my leader for you guys that tune in to watch this. I did set this deep. I'm only fishing like 4 foot of water, but I got basically 84 points in this thing playing it for the first time, just spotting out. And I caught all of mine on some seminal, I can't say the word, but basically the dough balls, man. Throw that out there, and that's what I had the best luck with. But I've switched to this just because I practiced this just for like 45 minutes with my friend John. So, but again, it almost feels, even if I was able to double my score and it was to hold, at best, I feel like I'm just grasping for straws on something like this, and I know a lot of you guys probably feel the same. But anyways, you guys might be able to practice this and definitely build off of what I did. But for a guy that just came in and tried to do what I could, at least I got several fish that were scoring. See, now, that didn't say anything about catching bleak, if you guys caught that when I went and looked at the shop. Didn't say a thing about catching bleak. It said target fish, basically just roach. Too bad it didn't work like that, but just reading the labels and the descriptions, this should have been money, this bait right here, especially if you're mixing with a black roacher and you've spotted it out. So again, semolina balls, however you guys want to pronounce it, that's what I caught all my 84 points on. Can you give us a roach or a rod or something? Is it going to be a bream? Nope. There we go. There's a trophy rod as we ended it here. So you guys can, I hope this helps some of you guys out. Again, if you guys need the marker, just 60 foot out, I just marked the spot. So that's all I did. Marked the spot and threw the black roach out. So I hope this helps you guys. And in the future, I'll be putting up more of these, whether I do fail miserably and fall on my face or I do something that helps you guys out. That's what I'm doing it for. So hope you guys enjoyed looking at the I gotta see what's coming up. But we did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 target fish for a total score of 101 points doing it the first time. So, and I'm going to look at the upcoming schedule here. I don't know if there's anything worthwhile, but I'll go ahead and take a look here in a second. In other words, I might stream something else, but I think it's a bunch of amateurs. See, Super Dave's right. If you guys ever go and check his video out on ideas how to fix comps, I agree. They need to. Who cares about the amateurs? And then you got people doing duplicate accounts. That, let's say somebody that's well experienced, they make a separate account, then they come in here and they just roll these things, or they get canceled. So just get rid of the amateurs, add an intermediate level, until you're able to. Even all the experience that I've got, guys, you can look and see. I played the game for almost 3 years now, or in day games. I've got 397 days. I started playing in comps in February, and I've got 1 second place. And I'm not tooting my own horn or being, overzealous or anything, but I'm a great fisherman. I got a lot of experience, but for whatever reason, it's going to be the same guys winning over and over. So Dave's idea was to get rid of the amateurs, and until you've placed first, second, or third 10 times, and he just threw out a facetious number or just whatever, he just threw out a number, maybe until you've won 10 or placed first, second, or third 10 times. I agree wholeheartedly with Super Dave. You need to break these guys up, give the regular Joes a chance to win some of the X Series gear. But looking at this, so the next 4 hours, it's filled with amateurs. So if a guy was to come play, I got to wait all the way till 9 o'clock or 11. I got to work in the morning. I'm not staying up and playing at 11. So anyway, I hope they fix that, guys, and sorry for the rant, but you guys check out, I put a bunch of comps up. Some of the stuff will help you. Some of it you can just laugh at me. But you guys take care until next time.